I could be among the medalists in this event, but suddenly, because of some interpretation of the rules, which I'm not agree with, I'm not able to compete.
With 130 conflicts in the world, if everyone is allowed to express themselves in that way, beyond a black armband, it will create a field of play which becomes a field of expression.
Yeah, I believe they deserve to be here because of their sacrifice. We're able to be here today, and I want to honor them, and I want to honor their families.
One of the most famous names to emerge from the 2026 Winter Olympics in Milano Cortina belongs to an athlete who did not win gold, silver or bronze, who did not indeed really compete in his event. He is Vladyslav Heraskevych, representing Ukraine, who was disqualified from the men's skeleton over his insistence on wearing a helmet adorned with the images of 24 Ukrainian athletes who have been killed during Russia's ongoing assault upon his country. That 24 is, sadly, merely a small selection, rather than a complete tally. Heraskevych, to be clear, did not arrive at these games intent on being some grandstanding self-sacrificer keener to prove a point than mount a podium. He was seen as a genuine medal hope, having finished fourth at last year's World Championships, and his times in practice runs, where he was allowed to wear the helmet, were competitive. But the International Bobsleigh and Skeleton Federation, the International Olympic Committee, and the Court of Arbitration for Sport all concurred that Heraskevych was in violation of the Olympic rule which broadly forbids the expression of individual opinions by athletes while on Olympic premises, very much including the field of play, or in this instance, the winding, curving ice track of play. Heraskevych may feel that he has won something much more valuable, not only a plausible victory in the court of global public opinion, but Ukraine's Order of Freedom, which Heraskevych was presented with personally by President Volodymyr Zelensky in Munich at the weekend. Heraskevych has also reminded us that the Winter Olympics is perhaps under-acknowledged, and at the risk of enraging Olympic officialdom, underutilised as a forum of protest. There is a reasonably well-known pantheon of protest by athletes at Summer Olympics, most famously the American sprinters Tommy Smith and John Carlos, gold and bronze winners in the men's 200 metres in Mexico City in 1968, raised the fist of the Black Power salute from the podium.
They were ordered out of the Olympic Village and were suspended by the US Olympic Committee.
It was the silver medalist, Australia's Peter Norman, who suggested that Smith and Carlos heighten the visual impact by sharing a pair of black gloves. All three men were punished by authorities to some extent or another. When Norman died in 2006, Smith and Carlos flew to Melbourne to carry his coffin. The Winter Games, however, have contributed somewhat less to the lexicon of protest and dissent, possibly because winter athletes are focused not merely on winning their events, many of which could have been designed by someone harbouring a venomous grudge against the participants, but surviving them. Maintaining a principled and articulate view on the sovereignty of the Chagos Islands may be difficult when careening towards the lip of the ski jump at north of 100 kilometers per hour. Nevertheless, some have tried. These Winter Games have seen several American athletes express misgivings about the anti-immigration measures currently being enacted back home. This particular exercise of the First Amendment freedoms that American conservatives are usually so keen to defend prompted furious demands for censorship by pretty much the same American conservatives. There have also been protests by non-athletes against these Winter Games occurring at all, by those vexed by the participation of Israel and or the presence of American ICE agents among the entourages of high-profile US officials, and or various local political and environmental repercussions of the Games. Italy's Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni has also taken a selective view of free expression in these instances, deriding her fellow citizens as enemies of Italy.
Really wanted to see him race today. It's been an emotional morning.
Olympic authorities have always taken a lofty yet anguished view of this kind of disruption. They cleave insistently, as all similar sporting bodies do, to the inane fantasy that their event is somehow above politics. In fairness, they probably have to maintain such a facade to at least some extent. To declare an Olympic Games, or a World Cup, or an international tournament of whatever you're having yourself, an open forum for the expression of any and all opinion would be to invite chaos. But any event involving dozens of nations, not all of whom get along, is always going to be political, to a degree that cannot always be contained. But at these games in particular, from which the artefact which seems most likely to end up in the Olympic Museum in Lausanne is a helmet one competitor was disqualified for wearing, there was one political gesture which should have got far more attention.
The team from Ukraine.
At the opening ceremony of Milano Cortina 2026, the teams were led out by volunteers swaddled in silver puffer coats, masked by black ski goggles. The people inside these cumbersome costumes were permitted to choose which team sign they wanted to carry. So it was that Ukraine's team followed into the San Siro the Milanese architect Anastasia Kucherova, who was born in Russia. A subtle and brave gesture on her part, and an obviously political act of resistance which was also entirely in keeping with what is sold as the Olympic spirit.
Very warm welcome for 46 athletes. These athletes have had a tougher journey to these games than most.
For Monocle Radio, I'm Andrew Muller.